It's my birthday tomorrow. Andre Cordova.
Jay, the person to come to for Grindr profiles.
What does that even mean?
I will get to that in a later point.
And welcome to Sabotage. Yes. So we're here to talk about self-improvement.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
How to improve yourself, especially with everything we've gone through.
Oh, bitch, it's fucking difficult.
It's like, especially in this community.
Yes, where like majority of people are traumatized
How to
and
dodge
afflicted by some way or another.
Those minds. Yes, very much so. Me, I don't know how it worked, but I eventually somehow ended up as some sort of dating guru. And I'm not even a relationship person.
You're like Cupid.
I don't even know how it worked because I went to this like cute little Acon group thing, and they were just talking about the gay community, whatever, dating, etc., etc., etc. And I would just throw in tidbits of, oh, no, you should do this rather than that. You should put this on your profile rather than that. And then it's suddenly like, you should write a book about this. I'm like, how to date within the Sydney gay community. Tip 1.
That's so funny. That's actually a good segue into self-help books. Firstly, let me just say, okay, no. Are you the type to read a self-help book?
Never.
And I want to say, is that because you're not a white person?
Yes.
It's such a white people thing. I think it's such a fucking scam.
It's just, especially when they try others who are, it's like a cult mentality.
Yeah, it is. It's,
When they try to
it's
sell
very
it to you.
cultish.
Like I remember this manager once who started playing this video of this guy who was some sort of lifestyle coach or something from YouTube. And the things he said, he was like, there was a line of people waiting for a free bagel. And I was with my friend and he wanted to wait in line. And I refused to wait in line. And I walked up and got my free bagel because that's how you should take life. I'm like, that guy sounds like a jerk.
That guy sounds like an entitled
asshole.
piece of shit.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, then I look, I'm like, oh, he's white. Then my manager was like, see, yeah, about how life take it by the hand. I'm like, are we supposed to imitate that this guy wants to just cut in line in front of everyone and just be an absolute asshole? Is that what you
literally.
want us? Yeah, me and her had a disagreement about the video. Those are the self-help books I see. Like, people are really big on Andrew Tate right now. Like, shit.
Oh, well, he's gone downhill, right? Because he got arrested,
Yeah.
which is a good thing. It helps.
Alpha males are still out there.
Honestly, any straight man who supports Andrew Tate, fuck you, you're a dickhead. Only you could be stupid enough to think, oh, this is how I can get women by following and supporting and believing and trusting the man that women hate. Like, where is the logic to that? Because guess what?
Logic.
If you bring it up, if it's ever mentioned, if it becomes known to a woman that you support this man or agree with this man, then that's a red flag. She's block fucking, oh, this is a good way to end the date right now.
What's tragic is that these men have always been there.
Yeah.
They were usually referenced as the jocks of society, but women were like an object for them.
Objects.
You see it in the gay society as well, but because we're men to men, it's like
It's a different dynamic.
very different, but at the same time very similar.
Oh, yeah.
We should accept that, well, we're both men. We both have crazy sexual desires. We don't need more than that. Which is sort of what bred the whole Potts Point community, I guess.
The lack of
emotional
romance,
connection,
fucking,
just
emotional
being on
connection,
something
exactly.
and getting into those weird parties that I'm happy I left. But yes.
It's really interesting because a lot of the stuff that is in these self-help books, like, I don't know about you, but like, I just learned that on my own. Like,
Right?
a lot of it is common sense. A lot of it is just like,
It's just experience.
yeah, like, it's just emotional regulation and it's doing the right thing by oneself and doing right by others and just, I don't know, really standard stuff, I think. But, go ahead and pay fucking $35 for
Or going to the seminars. Like, who has time? Like, the idea of self-improvement. Like, some people say, by the age of 16, 18, you're an adult, whatever. I was an idiot at 18 and such.
Oh, yeah, no.
Wasn't
yeah.
I was 25 when I realized finally I had enough experience to realize what the hell I was doing.
Isn't that when like the brain matures?
I think it was 21, though, wasn't it?
No, for a man.
Oh, I'm not sure.
It's like 25.
Someone fact check that.
I'm pretty sure.
But no, it's like...
you were a stupid bitch.
I was a stupid bitch. Depending on the community you're in, you need to get to the point where you want to know what you want. Because like when I first started, let's say, I wanted to be in the community, the party community, the scene community, whatever. I thought that was the pinnacle.
Yeah.
But then when I was getting to that, I realized what it was and what it actually meant. Especially at one point when I saw one guy who was, think of like God was on a good day and made this person. Like think of it that way. And he was like in media and acting, whatever. Will not mention names. And then when I saw that person who basically had it all in that, but still was doing stuff.
It wasn't enough.
Wasn't enough.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, so that he isn't the pinnacle. So that isn't what I wanted. That was a big wake up call.
I think that's because whenever, and this does come down to privilege, it does come down to race especially.
Come down to almost emptiness.
When you have everything, like nothing is going to be enough.
Nothing sacred.
No. Because like for us, I don't know, like I don't need much to get by. Like I can value things that, like you said, are sacred, like whether that be friends and spending time with them or just the little things like that you don't inherently have access to. I don't have money to buy me whatever I want.
A Louis Vuitton jacket. I remember that from Emily in Paris. I'm like, that jacket looks amazing. I checked it on Google Lens. Nope, $3,700.
Jesus fucking Christ.
I'm not buying that.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with being privileged. There's nothing wrong with being born into a family or a world where you have access to things that others have to fight for. Lucky you. Honestly, good for you.
I wonder what those people went through in life sometimes.
I know, right? That's the thing though, especially when it comes to conversation, it's like, it's really hard to converse with them because...
It's like really hard to relate with their issue of not finding the right tea cozy.
Yeah, and that's like the hardest thing
I'm like, right.
in their world. But
so
like...
both your parents are alive? Oh.
Yeah, it's exactly. It's like, oh, well, shit, I grew up abused and my mother's dead. Like...
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
It's like, all right, okay, cool. I'll just...
Someone mentioned that, I'll be like, really?
Yeah.
Tell me more.
How would you say you fared from like past to present?
If people actually knew past me 5 years ago compared to now, very different. Very different. Didn't really have much direction. Unhappy. I didn't really know much of stuff. And then afterwards, I just went through enough to be like, okay, I know what I want.
Yeah.
And you really have to focus on that, like what you want to achieve. Now, I know it's like some people would be like, oh, I'd like to lose a few calories, like kilos, whatever. Having that in your mindset and actually pursuing it is very different.
Commitment.
It's very big.
It's very big for that.
Because like you need to want it more than what you'd get joy from something else. That's really important.
Yeah.
Because that's what really helped me. It's like when you focus on something that you want to become more than what you currently are willing to accept you are.
Some sage advice.
Jesus, see, this is why I'm a guru sometimes. I don't even know where it comes from.
One of the mentalities that I have is you can always be doing more.
Didn't Kim Kardashian say that or something?
I don't know.
She said something about people are lazy or something.
That's different.
Like, don't be lazy. Get your life
I'm pretty
together.
sure that's different. I've had this mentality since before that bitch. I don't watch the fucking Kardashian. No.
Same.
I don't think that's like an aspiration to have regarding self-improvement.
I just watch thrillers. Yeah.
And this is coming from someone who struggles with doing more because ADHD, task initiation is such a problem
it's so
for me.
difficult to deal with.
Starting things that I should be doing that I need to do is so fucking hard.
It's just so hard to start.
Literally, but once I start, I can hyper
keep
focus and until I finish.
It's like climbing some mountain.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, now I can do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Once you start, you're good, but starting in the first place is so incredibly difficult. And that's why I'm so big on you can always do more, because I know that personally I could get so much more done in my fucking day but I have mental disabilities fucking stopping me.
Called Ritalin.
Yeah. I actually need to get on ADHD medication.
Have you ever tried it before?
That's the thing. I did try it once. I had a Dexy. I had half a Dexy, like at a time.
Yeah, I'm curious. What happened? What
Yeah.
happened?
Got it for free off someone.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I did it properly. And what happened was, as soon as I took it, I started being productive. I started working.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I wasn't thinking about anything. I just got it done.
It also quiets down all the
It
voices.
does. It fucking
all
does.
the argument.
Yeah.
That's happening.
And then as soon as it wore off, you know what happened? I started forgetting things again.
Yep.
I
finished 8 documents in one day when I
my
took
God.
Ritalin. Like, I was like, I finished my work for a week. I'm good.
that's the thing, like with, your typical regular person, the way that medication would affect you is it makes you high.
Yeah.
But for people with ADHD or something to that effect,
you get settled.
it slows you down.
It's like, you're like, oh, I have this to do. I
Yes.
should do it. And then you just have your laptop in front of you and just typing away for like hours. You're like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah, it's actually incredible. That's why I'm like, I don't want to take it every day, but I do need to get properly, start the medication
It's tricky
for
though
it.
to get it.
It is. It's
quite
it's
tricky.
yeah. That's kind of the issue. So
Do you
I think
have doom piles by any chance?
doom piles.
It's apparently an ADHD thing that I didn't realize I was doing until afterwards. You just have these piles of things you need to organize, pack, or otherwise.
I have too much. Only
I have like
last night.
3 in my bedroom.
I've got some physically in my room and then also like on my PC where it's like only last night, I kid you not, I went into my downloads folder. I started organizing. I was like, okay, I've got an important documents folder. I started creating subfolders and put the receipts of things in there that were just in downloaded. So I've like begun organizing that. But that's just such a small part of everything else that I've got sitting on my fucking computer that needs to be organized. And also in my room, I have boxes from when I moved in a year ago.
Are they still there?
Most of it is unpacked. Most of it's done. But there's a few there and like a couple bags. And I'm like, I need to sort this.
Gets to the point, the only way it gets sorted or done is when some sort of
You need
emergency.
motivation.
Yeah, an emergency.
You need
happens.
motivation.
Like someone's coming to the bedroom like shit.
Oh, but well, look, I've had plenty of people in my bedroom. That didn't make a difference.
Oh, it makes me run around the house cleaning like crazy. Because I'm like, there's a time limit now.
Having people over helps because you're like, oh, I want this to be presentable. I want this to look like I'm not like a
I
poverty
want him to
dirty
come
bitch.
back a second time.
Yeah. I want them to come back. I want them to still be my friend.
I need the emotional support.
Yeah. But one of the motivations, I think recently was literally getting a boyfriend.
That helps.
Yeah.
You get your shit together sometimes.
I'm trying to.
Tricky though.
But I'm proud of myself for making like even a couple phone calls today because that's hard as well. Like I've been needing to do this for months in some cases or like it's just something on my to-do list. And I wrote it down. I'm like, you're doing this today. And I forced myself to. And it's the little things.
They say lists help. A calendar alerts help, they say.
For one thing,
It's not
memory.
Ritalin, though.
Look, I would forget otherwise. If I didn't write it down, I'd fucking
so much.
forget.
I forget names all the
I
time.
write down when I have a fucking hookup. I've got it in my calendar. Like,
When
oh
people
yeah,
are
'cause
talking
then
to me, I just lose it.
Yeah.
I get distracted. I'm like,
do you zone out?
I zone out all the time. And
This
then
is-
they're like, Jay? I'm like, yes.
This
sorry.
this is turning into an ADHD episode. I zone out all the fucking time when people are talking to me.
I'm like,
It's
and
so
I'm
bad.
like, shit. Wait, I'm back in the conversation.
Yeah.
Act like you know what's happening. Yeah.
I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. I'm just gonna get a drink.
But yes, I think it's very important in regards to self-improvement. Celebrate the small wins as well.
Very much so.
It is, look,
Like,
there are so many expectations that come with existing.
especially in the gay community.
Yes, you're supposed to do this, you should be that,
You're
blah,
supposed to
blah,
have
blah.
boobies.
But existing.
Apps are difficult.
You're just talking about pecs now.
Sorry, yeah.
You've got a great set. Shut the fuck up.
Should have seen me in Mardi Gras, but keep going. I've been overworked lately.
I think that existing is enough, and if you can do more than that, well fucking done. It's hard. It's so hard.
Let's just accept that. It is hard. Like anyone that's saying I'm failing or some capacity, no, it is hard, especially in today's modern day.
Yes,
It is exhaustingly
absolutely.
hard. Like it's fine. We're all trying.
Life is like the hardest difficulty of any game that you could play.
Honestly.
It's so fucked.
I do know the idea of negative sort of feedback can try and sometimes push you to try harder, but eventually it will cave through. Like it's not a good base.
There is a differentiation between using negative kind of reinforcement as fuel
It only reaches a certain
and where it
point, though.
affects you mentally.
It does affect you mentally.
Yeah. Because that's one of like my ongoing things where, you know, living in Australia, tall poppy syndrome is a big thing here.
I was for a moment like, right, yeah.
Yeah. If you're succeeding, if you're excelling above the rest, they cut you down. That's what happens. I've had that my entire
No,
life.
this is true.
Especially as a person of color, especially being disabled, all of that stuff. The fact that I'm a talented individual just does not sit well with the general populace. And I do not get like spoon-fed fucking support, any of that kind of shit. I've had to fight for it the whole time.
That's why I'm more of a loner in life. In general.
Yeah, it's like you have to be your biggest fan. That's how you get through it. You need to be your biggest supporter, especially when you're a person of color, because I swear to God, that shit does not come easily. It's not given to you. None of that crap. It's like, it's so fucked
So true
up.
though, isn't it?
It
it's
is.
Still there. It's still there.
It's still a thing.
And I still hear in the gay community how they just talk about someone else or such. They're like, oh, he's Brazilian. Ugh. I'm like,
it's like, how hard is it to
why?
be fucking happy for somebody else?
honestly.
Entitled piece of shit. Like, I swear to God.
But focusing on that point, it's very true. Like the people you surround yourself with, make sure that they're there to
good.
be in your life, like just, you know, as like partners or otherwise, but they're not there in that they feel threatened by you.
Yes.
Because like I recently went through something where I cut off a lot of negative or toxic individuals from my life because I didn't need that in my life. And I can usually easily tell if someone's like going to be toxic or otherwise. And it really helped my life because I didn't feel shit about myself. It was only until friends told me actually, they're like, why do you let that person treat you that way? And I'm like, why do I let them treat me that way?
Exactly. That's such a big part of self-improvement as well. It's
The people you surround
knowing
yourself with.
who to surround yourself with. It's knowing who your friends are, who deserve to be your
Who's
friends.
actually your friend?
Yeah. The people within your life who like help you up, not put you fucking down.
Honestly.
I remember you mentioning even like when we met and stuff, you said something about getting just this positive good vibe from me.
I was just focusing on positive individuals. Like people who I knew could supplement something to my life rather than bring me down on my journey. I remember I used to have a friend, for example, that when I was going through a weight loss journey, he was the only one who didn't support it and would constantly try to like downplay it almost. So then it was later I realized how toxic that individual was being to my life, for example. You just got to focus on people who want to support you and bring you up to help you with what you're trying to do rather than trying to just pull you back to where they're comfortable with where you are in life compared to their life.
Yeah. A lot of it comes down to being selfish with these individuals.
It's all about them.
They can't let go of just things being about them and the way that somebody else makes them feel.
They feel almost threatened by the idea.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, it's not even the case, but they feel that you would be somehow surpassing them, which is a threat to them. They feel it changes the dynamic.
Well, with social media, it's become like a custom for people to compare themselves to the lives of others, where it's not real anyway. It's not the full story, but it's enough to make you doubt yourself. And it's enough to make you feel bad about yourself.
So true. Honestly, so many of those people who are showing weight loss techniques and such on Instagram or bodybuilding techniques, I know for a fact some of them are on certain things. Like, I know for this for
On
a
the
fact.
roads.
I'm like, don't you do those Instagram videos? Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I guess, not natural after all.
Yeah. It's such a fallacy. It's so important to be able to identify what is actually going to help you and help you improve yourself as opposed to what's for the sake of like views or content or fucking clout. Like, there's a lot of misinformation out there, and I think it's so easy for people to forget because we're so chronically online. We're so used to having the internet now.
It's tricky. It tries to suck you in.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes when you get a taste of, let's say, momentary fame of like more followers, more views, especially TikTok, you got to be careful with that one. You start getting this almost taste of like,
Grandiosity.
yeah, like, oh, am I relevant?
Am I God?
Am I God's gift?
Yeah.
Am I, and then it starts being this idea that you start thinking you're something bigger,
Than what you are.
and then you start being obsessed with the idea of views and followers and such, and it's not worth it, really, isn't it?
I know that I've made a massive improvement from who I used to be compared to who I am now.
Same.
And I'm fucking proud of that.
I'm straight.
And I'll tell you what, I didn't feel proud of it until recently because I really struggled with feeling proud of anything that I achieved thanks to my fucking parents. Like, I praise to anyone who has had to experience what I have when it comes to your parents not acknowledging a single fucking thing that you achieved and always blaming everything negative on you and constantly being a source of just
Problems.
abuse and putting you down in your life when they should be your biggest supporters.
I would require them to be actual parents.
Yeah, exactly. Not everyone is destined to be a fucking parent. Let me tell you that.
I wish there was a test they could do
They need.
beforehand.
I think they need a license.
I mean,
If you need a license to drive a car, you need a license to raise a fucking child.
I feel like the conservatives are going to suddenly appear in the comment section. But
yeah.
like, there should be some sort of like test or such, being like, you will not be
Good at
helping
this?
the society.
Yeah.
Um,
You're not contributing.
not contributing. If anything, we fear your child will become a sociopath killer. So
Yeah. And I
think no.
the amount of effort it took for me to not become that
It was odd.
after what I went through. Look, my debut album, Psychotic, is called Psychotic
Now
for
it
a
makes
reason.
sense.
That's the whole premise. It's like, if I hadn't turned out the way that I did, if I hadn't overcome everything, I would have turned out psychotic. And that's kind of the reality of it because I hate how I used to be. I really did.
I mean, we all do.
Undiagnosed borderline personality disorder.
I'm afraid to ask what you did or got up to.
I just have a lot of regrets
Don't we all, babes?
in various departments. Like, when it came to sex, I didn't have a sense of self, so I went along with whatever the other guy wanted.
Terrible memories.
And
isn't it?
I ended up with regretting having sex with certain guys.
It took me a while to find, especially for any of you like watching within the gay community, it takes us a while to find what's good in sex sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, you think because what you see on TV or what others are saying that what you're supposed to do, but then you're like, this is not fun, or
It's not it, boo.
it's painful. It's only afterwards where you should honestly try to find what makes you come. Try to find maybe a good guy, if it's possible. Because
Good luck.
assholes will
Good luck. Good luck.
They're rare. It's like a shiny Pokemon.
It is.
It's like this quote that, God, I don't even remember. I remember it since I was a child, and I don't know why as a child I was even focusing on relationship stuff. But it was from one of the movies in X-Men. And Jean Grey says to Wolverine, she's like, you have fun, you flirt and, go out with the bad guy, but you end up going home and having, marrying the good guy. I'm like, that is so true. I was like, well, God, I was like a child, and I still believe that's true till now.
I got lucky, bitch. Like, yeah, I feel that for sure. But what I was saying before with like
I don't even recall.
how I used to be compared to now.
Right.
Yeah. I
I was
just
such a different person.
I was very unhinged in regards to my emotions. I acted out very drastically. And sex was one thing, not having a sense of self, which I do now. And I have high standards. So it's like, you know.
Sex took a while, babes.
But in regards to the other stuff, I'm so much happier with how I handle things now compared to before. Everything was an emotional reaction, literally
Honestly.
since I was a child. Like, I
I was very angry. Like
I
was
would cry over
angry.
anything.
I'll just get frustrated.
I get mad when I get confused. Confusion makes me angry,
Same.
like irrationally angry.
Well, it used
I
to a
don't
lot.
like it.
It was weird. Maybe it's part of the ADHD. I'm not sure.
Maybe. It's very interesting as well, the way that personally BPD and ADHD intertwine. Because it's one thing to get sort of information and educated about these inherent separate conditions, but the way that they blend together, I don't have the hyperactiveness because of my BPD. My BPD makes me second guess everything. So I can't be hyperactive.
I'm the exact opposite. I was like, I can't sit still without quivering.
But that's the thing. No, that's the thing. Like the only time I'm hyperactive is if I'm anxious, I'll be bouncing my knee all the time. Or if I'm happy, I'll be bouncing off the walls. Like those are kind of the exceptions. Whereas the rest of the time, yeah, it's very interesting the way that they work together. But I am very proud of the progress I've made.
I'm proud of it too.
Especially, yeah, and like we should be, especially considering, like, for me, I didn't know for the majority of my life that I had these conditions. My mother had it. I didn't know.
I wish I was diagnosed earlier with things.
Yeah, 100%. And not having that support from family or anybody.
They always just assumed you were the problem.
Yes. Like, and in class, I was always distracted or the distraction.
I used to just draw just to get through it.
I used to take, like, my friend's, like, pencil case and just empty it and look through this.
I used to start playing with the pens and such as characters.
It's a whole thing, but that's going to be like a separate episode on, like, literally having these mental health conditions. But
I will say, for like self-improvement, it can be very difficult at first.
yeah,
But once you get into a rhythm, it gets a lot easier because your body starts adjusting to what you're trying to do.
always strive to be the best version of yourself possible.
It can be very tricky, especially if you have recurring sort of like things that like episodes. Let's say like eating issues, for example. I would usually use eating as a form to help with either stress, anxiety, or such. It can be very tricky to fight those urges. The best thing to do, I'll always say, because don't trust what you're seeing on YouTube or Instagram or such saying this is what you should do. Do what's comfortable for you.
Do what works for you.
Do what works for you. Because, for example, for me, I was at first I know a lot of people are very nervous to going to the gym based on what they're seeing there and they feel they're going to be judged.
Yeah.
So what I did was I first used like a gym within the building I live in. I sort of built up on that and then I started going to the gym from that. But I'd go during quiet hours and then I'd start building up the confidence. That way I got much more comfortable doing what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So just do what works for you. Don't listen to what others are telling you should do.
Regarding the gym, I did a similar thing. I just went with a friend. I went with Benny.
It really helps to go with a friend.
Yeah.
It really helps.
Because I got so much anxiety about going to the gym. I went with a friend. I was able to just essentially hyper-focus on them. We just did our routine and we're chatting and stuff. And it was so much easier because when I go alone, I do get anxious.
It's like you're being judged. But honestly, when I chatted with those people afterwards when I met them, they're not even focusing on you. You got to understand them.
Everyone's in their own world.
They're in their own world. Like they might look at you if they're interested in you, but no one's going to come up to you and say, why the fuck are you here? It's like, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to like, no.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out. No one's going to say that. Like, if anything...
Or if they do, they're a psycho.
Yeah. And if they do, honestly, the staff downstairs will just throw them out.
Yeah.
They don't care. If anything, some of them will look at you as like, oh, this person's beginning their journey. They support them. They're actually more happy to see people starting in the journey rather than like wanting to reject them.
What you were talking about before, the reality of steps back not being a reset. So
What do you mean?
say, for example, when you spoke about eating,
Right.
just because you might indulge yourself one day doesn't mean you're back to the start. It doesn't mean, oh, I'm completely fucked. I was supposed to not eat this much or whatever the fuck. It's okay.
It's okay to lose it once in a while.
Yeah, like...
Especially if you've been drinking.
Yeah. There are so many things where it's a situation of, this is just a step back and I can keep going. I'm not back to where I used to be however long ago. And I had that problem with being in a relationship. Like, I've not had one in 4 years or so. It's my first healthy relationship. There's a lot of like new dynamics to this that I've never experienced before. But just because I'm struggling mentally, emotionally with my borderline, just because I fuck up a little bit does not mean I am back to how bad I was before. It's just...
That is true. You can't go backwards. I am not the same person I was 2-3 years ago.
It doesn't discredit everything that you've achieved up to this point.
It does not discredit it. We all slip up now and then. Yeah. We all do something stupid. That
and
doesn't
it's okay.
mean you failed.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's like, just keep going forward, because if you stop at that point, then you yourself failed. You failed yourself at that point.
It's only a problem if you can't acknowledge it.
Yeah.
And be honest with yourself. Like, okay, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Maybe I could have done better.
Like, you made out with some guy at a party who turned out to have a boyfriend you didn't know. It doesn't mean that somehow you have failed in some capacity.
Yeah, I'm not sure that that's the same thing, guys.
You simply were living your truth, and what may or may not have happened afterwards is not your fault. But
I know what happened afterwards now.
But simply, mistakes happen. I've done mistakes. God, I've done mistakes. I've done so many mistakes.
I believe that.
Yeah. You just learn from them. But I'll always say, like, when I look back at myself, I'll be like, what an idiot. What an absolute idiot. Some stuff I've done like 5 years ago or so.
Oh, I criticize myself all the time. It's actually a really bad habit.
It is. I try to get out of it.
I just remember something that I've done that I regret, that I don't feel good about. And I will literally say to myself, oh, you're a fucking idiot. Like, I'm fucking dumb. Like,
remember how, like, 5 years ago you thought you knew everything?
Oh,
I knew nothing. Oh, God. And I still learn every week.
Yeah.
I still learn something new. Yeah, never sell yourself short. There's always something more.
I think one of the most important parts of self-improvement is acknowledging the fact that you are constantly learning.
Always.
And you should be learning. If you're not, you fucked up. You're a dumb cunt.
You need to try something new.
Especially from someone who strives for perfection all of the time.
Which is unachievable.
Unreasonable, unrealistic, unattainable.
Not gonna happen.
Still do it. Like,
perfection is even I've seen someone who's basically perfect and he still was fucking up at that point with 3 people in the bathroom. Anyway. But yeah, no.
Yeah. I think oh fuck, I was gonna say.
Not even sure.
I literally read it and then I forgot. Because we can wrap up. Do you have any aspirations for how you might want to be, or, you know?
I always, one thing I'm always trying to do.
Less of a little bitch?
Sure. I always want to progress myself in life. I'm always striving forward. That's something, like, when you stop trying to strive forward, something has happened. Because you need to clear that up immediately, because otherwise you're going to be stuck for like the rest of your life. I'm always pushing forward, either career-wise, appearance-wise, what I have, what I don't have. Of course, don't burn yourself out, but just keep trying to move forward. Like, I'm still taking classes now and then on the side because I enjoy it. Like, expanding my skill set, for example. Just keep trying to push forward. At least that gives you some sort of like spark within you that keeps fueling you forward. You need that.
Yes.
You definitely need that. Because if you don't, you're just going to be just like a cold engine. Like, where's it going to go at that point?
Something I want to say as well. Regarding anyone who has BPD, there's this term called having a favorite person. And a favorite person is someone that you rely on, that you depend on.
Hopefully he's not looking in my direction.
As a source of happiness, validation, etc. it's not healthy, but it's something that every person with BPD does. And you know what I asked myself at one point? Why can't I be my favorite person? Why can't I be my own favorite person? Because anytime I've had somebody else be that, it's gone to shit. I've overwhelmed them. I've pressured them. I've done all kinds of like just unhealthy things to try validate the way I was feeling. But once I got rid of that, that's one of the biggest self-improvements I've made. I was like, I'm not relying on anybody else for my happiness or to feel okay.
It's such a good release.
Or to know everything and anything that they're doing, like, and how that relates to my life. Like, it's such a massive fucking thing, and it is
So
possible.
true.
So,
Especially the idea, like, when you see someone who you think is what you want to be, a lot of the time, like they say, don't meet your heroes, there's a good reason.
yeah.
When I have met those heroes, it has not been pretty. Oh, we'll publish our book at one point.
Yeah. Yeah. Buy our self-help book that is yet to be written.
As well as my Grindr book that will be out.
Lol. Fucking lol. Yeah. So I think that concludes this episode on self-improvement. And just honestly, don't be so hard on yourself.
It is rough out there.
Yeah. We're doing everything that we can. And if you want, start. So this has been Sabotage.
Oh, we were supposed to say it at that point. Sabotage. I was expecting your name.
He's really bad at this. He'll improve
Let's
for the
try
next time.
one more time.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. I didn't even take shit. Had I taken shit, I would have had it in a month.
No.
You should see them in Potts Point.
Do you know what you're going to say for your introduction?
Crap. More wine?
Oh, yeah. No.
It's empty. Thank you. Just a little parched.
Okay. We're fine. We're good.